joining us on the first ever From Scratch podcast.
I'm Bree.
And I am Sarah, and we are so excited that you are here on this journey with us. We are nervous. I'm going to be honest with you. I am nervous.
Yeah, I'm sweating a little. It's okay, though.
It'll be fine.
Yeah,
we'll let the nerves fly, and we're humans. So I think everyone understands that when you put yourself out there, you're going to have a little bit of heart flutters, and we're just going to work through it, and it's going to be fine.
And we might cry. Who knows what's going to happen?
Okay. I didn't bring tissues, so good luck with
I don't
that.
know.
Okay. We are excited for this season of this podcast. Today, of course, it's just Bree and I, and we're just going to talk a little bit about our personal stories and just go through the story of the market. But in the future, we're going to have some guests on.
Yes, we are.
And we're going to have a party.
Yeah.
And it's going to be fun.
It's going to be awesome. We're going to give everybody that wants to a chance to come in and tell their story. Behind every one of these businesses is someone's why, someone's reason, you know, and we want to give them a chance to tell it if they want to. Not everybody, we're not going to force you to come and do the podcast, but if you want to come tell your story, we want you to have a space to do that.
Absolutely. And it's a safe space because we're crazy. So it's going to be okay. So the very first thing I feel like we just need to share, I just want to know your story.
Yeah.
No one asks that anymore. And you mentioned that earlier. Like, it's just really cool to hear people's stories. So what's your story?
Yeah. So I was born here in Guernsey County. I grew up here. I spent my youth showing livestock, showing lambs.
That surprises me.
Yeah, we did. We showed lambs, and we went to like Louisville, Denver. We traveled doing that. Yeah, all through my childhood. And then we did that as well when my sister was kind of 4-H age.
Okay.
And so one time, my dad and I were on a trip to Oklahoma to buy a lamb, and I fell in love with it. I knew I wanted to go to Oklahoma State. I knew I wanted to go back there. You're from the West area, so you understand like the big sky.
Right.
Like,
it's captivating.
It was just, I'd never seen anything like it, and I just wanted to go back. So after I graduated from Buckeye Trail, I did a brief stint at Muskingum, and then I went to Oklahoma State. I went there as a sophomore. And I knew that I wanted to be involved in livestock, but I didn't really know to like what capacity. And Oklahoma State had a lot of different options. And when I got there, I realized there was a lot I didn't know about the culture of the livestock judging industry, the meat judging industry. I didn't realize that people were going to junior college and studying and being on livestock judging teams before they even got to Oklahoma State University.
Oh, wow.
So I had big hopes and dreams to kind of do that, and I realized I was really out of my league. And unfortunately, there just wasn't time to catch up. And so I kind of went to plan B, and sometimes, you know, things get thrown into your path that you didn't think were for you, and they end up being for you. And so the meat judging team ended up getting thrown into my path, and I worked at our college meat lab. It was called FAPSI. Food Agricultural Products Center, and so there was a lot of students that worked there. So, you know, every day after class was over, I would go to work at the meat lab.
Of course,
And we had to wear hairnet and hard hat every day.
I bet there's a picture someplace.
Oh, there's lots of pictures.
Yeah,
and so that would ruin your hair day, like, instantly. Like, you couldn't go anywhere after you got done working at the meat lab. You had to go home and get a shower.
Well, how do you explain to your friends, sorry, I'm running late, I was at the meat lab?
Yeah, well, usually all the friends worked at the meat lab, so they understood. Yeah, yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so, I mean, we spent our days harvesting livestock.
Wow.
We would cut and package custom orders.
Oh, that's cool.
We would harvest the animals from the OYE, the Oklahoma Youth Expo, those champions.
Oh,
so
no way.
Yeah, so we would harvest those, and then once we would harvest them, we would collect the quality data information and then send that back. And a lot of these I don't know livestock shows have like a carcass contest element to the sale. So these animals go through the sale, they get harvested, they collect all the carcass data, which might look like the lean beef percentage or whatever animal it might be.
That plays in my favor.
Yeah, the quality, prime, choice, standard, and we give all that data back, and then the kids actually get prizes based on how their carcasses place.
Pretty intricate.
Yeah, I mean, very interesting. Yeah. I mean, we learned something new every day. We were kind of, you know, given tasks at the beginning of the day, and they would say, okay, you guys got to get this stuff done before you can leave. And it was our duty to be done and lock up and clean. You know, we were in charge of cleaning.
Big responsibility.
Yeah, I mean, I learned a lot. And through working at the meat lab, then I got to know about the meat judging team. And so I joined the meat judging team, and Tim, who I met at Oklahoma State, my husband, he was on the meat judging team before me.
Oh, wow.
So he actually got me interested in the meat judging team, and then I was on the meat judging team after him.
You both have a huge background of like food quality standards.
Yes.
Oh my word.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes. A lot of knowledge.
Yeah.
A lot of knowledge as far as that goes. And so what the meat judging team would look like was a lot of long days. I mean, we were meeting at the meat lab before school. I mean, a lot of people had 8 o'clock classes.
Yeah.
So it was like 4 a.m. call to the meat lab. We would get there, and as weird as this sounds, sometimes it would be carcasses. Other times it would just be like a whole like pork loin or ham or whatever. And we would have to look at these cuts and evaluate them based on what we thought, and then we would like kind of compare them. So you would like compare
product analysis.
Yes, you would like compare 1 to 2, compare
Yeah.
1 to 3, compare 1 to 4, and then you would place them. Then you would write down your place, like 4, 1, 2, 3, submit that, and then you would have to write oral reasons or written reasons defending why you placed this one over this one and this one over that one. And it was, you know, quality, leanness, and we had to learn, like a ribeye, you know, when they cut it at the factory, there's guys who are standing on the line and they just have one cut that they make all day long.
Wow.
And so these guys have to meet this quality standard. And so then there's also things that you would have to judge called specifications. And so what that would be like, you know, the bone-in ribeye might need to have so many ribs. Or the pork loin needs to not have, like, the outer muscle can't be so big because that would mean you're cut too far into the shoulder and things like that. And those things matter in the industry. When you have different cuts that cost different prices, when you're leaving more on the shoulder that's less valuable than what should be with the loin, everybody's losing money, you know? And so we learned a ton.
So you graduated with this wealth of knowledge about high expectations and standards for specifically, you know, you were in the meat lab, but that knowledge transfers over into any product that you consume or put on your body or you purchase.
Yes.
So you graduated with a knowledge of just being able to really look at a product and be able to analyze its quality very quickly.
Yes.
Okay.
And through that experience, we also got to travel around the United States.
Oh, cool.
We actually also got to go to Australia.
That's awesome.
And judge meat.
Wow.
Yeah, everybody who was on my husband including, was on the year before us. They were all jealous because they didn't get to go to Australia. But we got to go to Australia, and we got to judge meat in Australia, and that was really cool.
You've been everywhere.
Yeah, I've been everywhere, man.
You have been everywhere.
Yeah, and so one thing that was really fun about that is that our professor would never let us eat at like a chain restaurant. Like, so if we could get it back in Stillwater, we were not eating it on the road. We had to eat at local places. Even if it was like a local or regional chain, like there was this one in West Texas that we would go to all the time called Chicken Express, and she hated taking us there, but like we loved it so much. So we would always go to Chicken Express. So like what we would do to practice is we would all load up in the van and we would drive to the beef plants in Amarillo, and we would spend days in these beef plants judging beef carcasses.
Fun.
At the end of the day,
what every college student does.
We're at the end of the day, you know, we're tired, we're hungry, we go out to eat, we go to bed, we're back up at 4 a.m., we're on the road.
Wow.
And so that was really, really fun, and we just learned so much. So then I loved that so much, I decided to stay on and do that in graduate school.
Oh, okay.
So I became a research assistant for my professor that was my coach on the meat judging team, and then I became the assistant meat judging coach for her.
Wow.
All while doing my research project, collecting data, analyzing data, getting my thesis ready to go. And so that was when I really kind of took everything to the next level as far as learning wise. That's when I took some more business classes. You know, I traveled more. I got to go with the team. I had more responsibility and just a really strong work ethic.
Yeah.
I mean, we were on the road all the time.
Oh, I bet.
We were on the road early. Yeah. You know, they would send us as graduate students, they would give us like a van, and they would be like, you have to go to Amarillo and collect product today. And so me and 2 other girls usually would go take the university van, drive to Amarillo, spend all day in the beef plant, and we would have to grade. Like, so the beef carcasses go by on like a chain, and so you have to go by and grade, like, okay, small 30, small 90, which is choice, or prime, or whatever.
Very tedious.
Yes, and then take all that data, and then we would actually have to go and collect product. So then we have to take the strip loins from all these cattle,
That's my favorite part. Just throwing that
load
out
them in
there.
the van, drive back to Stillwater, where we would have to cut a face slice off and then a steak. Then we would have to take that steak, run it through this oven, and then we would have sample days where we had to go through and taste everything. And so we would actually take a bite of steak, chew it up, spit it out usually.
Fancy.
And then you'd have to write like taste,
Okay.
texture, whatever. And all this is to say this all goes into the research. So how the research projects works was like there's repro, there's nutrition, there's all these people, and we might all be studying the same cattle, but we're all going to get different information.
Right.
And from that information is going to give us the whole picture on what this animal genetics, what we're looking for.
Right.
And so it was like that kind of like collaboration that I always thought was really cool. It's like, you know, we could all do our own, or we could share research information and get farther.
Right.
You know? And
Absolutely.
so a lot of this, the things that have kind of came from the market are things that I learned through osmosis, I think.
Makes sense.
And
the sequence and structure of practices.
yeah. So
That's awesome.
following college, then I got a job at Smithfield Foods in Virginia, like Smithfield Ham, Smithfield Foods.
Wow, fancy.
And I was a research and development product person, and I thought that was my dream job. I
Sounds
just
like
thought I was going to be corporate boss, corporate girl.
I can see that. I can see
you know,
that.
and it ended up not being for me.
Really?
There just was not that level of personal interaction. They really didn't care about you as a person or a human or what you had going on in your life. That is to say, though, I did learn a lot while I was there. I learned a lot about the food industry. I learned a lot about labeling, laws, requirements, really what there's laws that aren't. There's a lot of laws. There should be laws about things that there aren't, you know, also too. Like things that you would think would be regulated aren't necessarily.
Sure.
And then on the back end of that, you know, working with the product people who would be like procuring ingredients, like they would all the time be looking for cheaper, more cost-effective ingredients. So like things down to like the pennies.
Okay.
Because, you know, it might be a penny a pound difference, but when you take that out over the year, that adds up.
It does, yeah.
And so then if they had to source a new ingredient, then we would have to reformulate that product. So, and then taste it to make sure that there was not going to be any taste compromise with the new product introduction. So that
lot goes into
a
it.
lot goes into it.
When you go to the grocery store and you pick out that ham, you don't know how much went into it.
A lot.
But you do.
A lot goes into it. A lot goes into it. And while we were at Smithfield, we had an amazing farmer's market. We went to the Smithfield Farmer's Market for the first time and got tuna that was freshly caught that morning and took it home. And we were like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
We had never experienced any type of farmer's market like this before, and we were just in love with it.
You were in Virginia, right?
We were in
at this
Virginia,
time?
yeah, right next to the Smithfield's right on the water, right by Virginia Beach. And so it was incredible. And like we took it home and, you know, we picked out all these things and like that was like really when we fell in love with like the farmer's market like vibe.
Yeah.
And because it was like an experience.
Oh,
you know?
absolutely.
It was like, okay, Saturday morning, we were just out of college. This was like our first big boy and girl like experience. We were out in the real world, you know. Let's go to the farmer's market and let's get stuff for this grown-up dinner that we're gonna make. We're gonna take this tuna home and we're gonna have seared tuna, and you know, we're just
So grown up.
you know, and it's just like an experience.
Yeah,
And
it is.
so when we moved from Virginia, we really, really missed that. And I did not see anything like that anywhere in our area.
Did you move back here then?
We did.
Okay.
We moved back here after we left Smithfield. And after we kind of like searched around for looking for like a similar kind of vibe, we found like Whole Foods in Columbus we would go to,
yeah.
and there's a few really great farmers markets in Columbus that we would go to, but that soon just wasn't able to fit kind of into our daily life, our weekly schedule to be able to do that, but we still really missed it. And we started kind of sourcing some ingredients here and there from people, and I could kind of see that there was a lot of people in the area that were doing really cool things and things that were almost better than the things that I could find at the farmers market in Columbus.
Yeah.
And you know, it's like, why am I driving there when there's people right here that have even better things than they have in Columbus?
Yeah.
And so there's just not a lot as far as farmers markets in the area. And so last year around this time, I was thinking, and I was just like, you know what if we started a farmers market? And coming from my background, from my business, from Fit Meal Prep, I've kind of learned along the way things that have helped me. And so I really thought it would be important to be able to have these people come together into this space and really be consistent with being available to the public, having a place that the public knows that they can find them, and just making it easy. Because it's, yes, some people do enjoy driving all over the place to meet people or whatever, but that I don't want to do that. And I'm not going to.
Sure.
And so this is just a way for a more consistent way for people to find, you know, what they need in one spot versus driving everywhere else.
Yeah, and you had those experiences in other places,
Yeah.
and you valued that experience, and so bringing that back to the community that you chose to build your family in was important to you.
Yeah. And so what's your story, Sarah? What's your kind of lead in? What drew
I don't know if I
you
can follow
to
that.
the farmers market?
Okay, well, nothing like you. My background is actually in education, which I feel like plays a big role in this too. Like
definitely.
I love the licensure process. I love the spreadsheets we have. Like that's all a part of my heart. But going way back, so I actually grew up on a cow-calf operation in Montana at the base of Glacier National Park. I'm sure you've been there.
That I have not been there. My parents have been there, but I have not been
your
there.
parents,
It looks
okay.
beautiful, and
It
I
is.
cannot imagine growing up on a cattle ranch in Montana, by the way.
Yeah. I actually I was showing Doug, my husband, some pictures yesterday, and I found a picture of us driving cattle. It was in 2008, driving cattle, and you can see the mountains in the background. I was like, oh,
That's
yeah,
wild.
that's cool. It's not, it was on my phone from 2008, so it's not great. But, yeah, so I grew up out there. My parents separated. I moved back here to Ohio with my mom. My dad is still out there. But even when I was littler, I just hopped in the truck and went along, and every cow to me at that moment in my life was an Angus cow. Like there was no other breed of cattle. And as I grew up, I just remember the calves were born, the calves went in the barn, the calves went on a truck, and then the process just started over. So I guess I never really understood like the end process of anything. And maybe it was because I was too young. I don't really know. But that was just the cycle of everything. I guess when I really started when I left home to go to college.
Okay.
I really started to think, because I was in charge of feeding myself, I was in charge of grocery shopping, all of that.
Yes.
Like, I guess trying to figure out who I was going to be, right? And I guess I just was more curious about everything. And so I went through college being very, very aware of what I was consuming or putting, like for skincare products and hair care products and all of that. Not to say that it was a huge, major issue in my life, because it wasn't. I was in college. Who cares? But that was just, I feel like that's the first time I started to have those aha moments. Like, things can be different. There's a process, there's a quality, all of that. And that just happened then for me. And I met my husband, Doug, in college. And after, after, I think maybe I was still in college, but he started at a cattle company in Barnesville. And they did not raise the only breed of cattle I ever knew. They did not raise Angus cattle. They raised Texas Longhorns, which blows my mind because we're not in Texas.
At all.
I don't know if you know that or not.
No, we're not.
But I was like, I don't know. Those horns and, like, can you really eat them? Because you eat cows. That's just that's how my brain works. And he started out there in 2015. He brought home a calf, Miles. That was our very first Longhorn baby.
Aww.
And she was just a pet. We just loved on her. But then the herd grew, and the herd grew, and the herd grew. And then we started to get these little bulls that we didn't know what we wanted to do with. We didn't know if we wanted to keep them, if we wanted to sell them. But you can steer them. And I know you know all about that.
Yes.
So what we decided to do is beef became a byproduct of the business that my husband and I decided to start on our own here in Guernsey County.
More like the genetics, right? You
Right,
guys
so
were thinking about like show cattle,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Yep. So registered Longhorn stock, you're breeding for horn, disposition, color, all the things. And that is Doug's
all the
side
things.
of the business.
Yes, all the things.
I do not sell live animals. I don't understand nearly as much.
Yeah,
but
see,
you would.
I'm nerdy about that kind of
Right,
stuff too.
right.
Yeah, I'm nerdy about
so
that.
So Doug and I collaborate together.
Yeah.
You have your genetics and your nutrition, and then you got your beef portion.
Yes.
And so we decided that we were going to process an animal, because when you have cattle, that's just what you do.
Yeah.
So we started doing that just for our families. And that was nice to know where our meat
Oh,
came
yeah.
from.
I mean, also, by the way, my boys call your beef Sarah's beef. So that's also very comforting for me to have my boys knowing where their food comes from, too. Yeah.
No, it is. And my kids, when we first started at farmers markets, Lorelai would be like, Mom, what animal's in the freezer today? And she'd be like, well, you bought a package of so-and-so. And I'm like, no, honey, I don't think the public wants to know this. But I'm glad she does.
Yes.
I didn't as a kid.
Yes.
And, she's going to grow up, and she's gonna be more aware of that and be able to make those decisions for herself a lot sooner, I feel like, than a lot of children are.
Yeah.
But with all of that, our business and our company grew, and we had more animals that we needed to figure out what we were gonna do with. And we now breed, it's very specific now. At first, it was just like we didn't know what we were doing. I mean, Doug, I'm sure, knew what he was doing, but I had no idea. So now we have a very specific program. We know when the calves are born, 2.5 years, what the plan is for them. And we do all grass-fed, so that is another big planning process.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't realize how much it matters.
Yeah.
Like growing up, I mean, when, a hamburger comes from a cow. But like when we went to McDonald's, I was not caring what that cow was fed.
Right.
But now I care because I know.
Right.
It's like you don't know what you don't know, and when you know, you do better.
Right.
And now we have a very specific nutrition program for our breeding stock and our calves, and then our animals that are going to be processed. Everything is very planned out even before the animal is born in the spring.
Yeah.
And it's just like you had the process of when you were meat judging, all of those different factors that come into play. Well, I see that now too, maybe just in one product.
Yeah.
And I don't grade or anything like that, but it does matter. And there was a gentleman that I met at the farmer's market, a couple years ago, and he said something to the tune of, well, isn't it gamey because it's so lean? And I was like, you can make any animal really taste any way.
Yeah.
You just have to have those nutrition practices in place. So that's kind of how we fell into this whole business model. It was also something I was able to step away from the classroom and do. So that was a huge blessing, because when Doug and I started having our kiddos, we knew I needed to be home with them.
Yeah.
And homeschool and do all of that. And so the business has been amazing, because it's not just Doug's cows.
Yeah.
Like, it's really become something that we can do together, and our family shares. And we were just talking the other night at dinner. He took me on a date. Well, you know that because your dad photobombed.
Yeah.
He was like, what is one thing that you just love that our family does?
Aw.
And I said, we do everything together.
Yeah.
And that is what I have loved our small cattle business being able to do. We can do everything together.
Yep.
And not very many families can say that, and I know they wish that they could. And so I'm just very thankful that we can do that. But that's kind of what led us to, from the beginning, and it's funny how all the puzzle pieces, they all end up lining up and putting you right where you are.
They do.
For a specific season that you're just getting ready for, and you don't even know it yet.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And I think a lot of our vendors have gravitated towards their individual businesses.
Oh, yeah.
Because of a similar reason. I know that's why I ended up, starting my business. This was never in the plan.
Sure.
I never planned to start my own business, let alone a prepared meal business. It's something that really kind of came organically to me. And it was just a kind of a practice I started doing after I had my second baby. Up until that point, of course, was in the best shape of my life right before I got pregnant for the first time, lost all that baby weight, second best shape of my life, got pregnant again, and then the second time just wasn't coming off. And up until that point, through college, we had lost weight through just exercise, but we really didn't change habits.
Oh, okay.
And so as I've gotten older, the sticking to the healthy habits has really been my foundation of keeping me healthy. And so this business was started out of necessity because I was doing it personally. And then it just kind of grew to the point where I was able to just take this on as my full-time thing. And I wasn't, working outside the home because I could never find that work-life balance.
It's hard.
It's really hard.
I feel like
still I struggle.
Always hard. Yeah, I struggle too.
Yeah, I still struggle with it, but I wasn't ever in something that I truly loved as a job. And, when I was paying that $1,000 daycare bill at the end of the month, I'm like, I'm partially working to pay this daycare bill, and I just really wasn't vibing with that. And so I think a lot of our vendors are women, and I think that most of them are going to say that they went into this space to help maybe support their family while their husband works full time or something like that. And so it's really been a way for women to empower themselves and to have that opportunity to show up for their family. So it's really been, it's been incredible. I know it's been an incredible personal growth journey for me as well. When you open yourself up to doing business with people, there's things that are going to come up. There's problems that are going to come up. There's issues that are going to come up. And when you're the only person who's there to take responsibility for the problem or the action, you have to suck it up and sometimes say, I messed up. Yeah. And you're not looking over your shoulder and being like, oh, that wasn't my job. Right. That was Tommy's job or whoever's job, or that was whoever. You're taking responsibility for it. Yeah. And it's truly, truly, I know there's a saying, it's not personal, it's business, but it is personal to us.
It is. And for small business owners, that is how it is. I mean, there are, like I said, ups and downs and ups and downs.
So many ups and downs.
Everyone takes those ups
and downs. So many ups and downs.
You hear about the ups.
You always hear about the ups, and you don't really hear a lot about the downs. Right. But there are a lot of downs, and you sometimes feel very alone. Mm-hmm. When you're at home, maybe you are at home in that space that you want to be in, but you can still feel lonely. Mm-hmm. Because it's hard for other people to understand what you're going through because it is so personal. Yeah. And when you have someone else there that is kind of, a comrade, and they understand what you've gone through, generally, everybody goes through the growing pains. Mm-hmm. There tends to be a little bit of more, we all understand each other a little bit more, I think. And so that's nice too, is to be around other people who kind of get it and who get why you might be feeling like this, and to help lift you up when you are feeling low, and to know that it always comes back around. And this is going on my 9th year of business, and I have data for the last 4 years.
Of course you have data.
In my one app, and every year for the last 3 years, the little graph is the same. Okay. It's the exact same.
Wow.
And so, but you don't know that when it's your first year. You're like, you're doing really well, and then maybe, something happens and people go on vacation or whatever, and then you're like, oh my God, where are my customers? Everybody hates me. What did I do? I must have messed up. Because unfortunately, people don't give you like that feedback, you know, a lot. They're like, hey, I really liked your product, but I had to stop buying it because I had a baby and I'm not working anymore.
Right.
Or you know, we aren't able to afford it, or it's not in our budget, or I'm moving, or whatever. But when you have, like, I've literally had customers who have like purchased from me sometimes for years, and then they just fall off the face of the earth.
And that's hard.
And it's
I
so
know it
hard.
happens to everybody.
And it does. It
Yeah,
really
it
does.
does.
And it's not personal to that customer.
Sure.
Because they're buying something from you, but it's very personal to you when you're like, when you're like, what did I do? Where are my customers going? And so everybody goes through that. And if, you know, you do go through a time where you like maybe aren't doing as well, you know, we can kind of help you to
Absolutely.
be like, take an objective look to be like, okay, well maybe, you know, an order form would be helpful.
Yeah,
Or maybe
yeah,
some
another
more
perspective.
education would
Right.
be helpful. Or maybe, because we've learned a lot through both
Very
attending
much so.
farmers markets and vending at farmers markets, and now operating a
one.
farmers market, what people are really looking for
Right.
in a farmers market.
Yeah.
And in general, when kind of dealing with people one-on-one.
Yeah, the market was started for, and we'll cover this next, but the market was started based upon some desires that we had, but it is changed and shifted and has become so much more. But going back to those roots, I know we touched on it a little bit, but why start another farmer's market? You know, I remember us sitting in your office and you were like, I have this crazy idea. You have a lot of crazy ideas, but this was a crazy idea that I was like, I am kind of seeking something a little bit different than what I already am involved in. But I'll let you go first. Why did you want to take another thing on like that?
I just really felt like, I really feel like there's communities lacking in our area. I really feel like there's a very, very low sense of community in our area. I think that we're having a really hard time connecting to each other and understanding that we're all in this place together, guys. We live in this town together. And to me, food is the beginning of community.
The way to your heart.
Food is my love language. For somebody to sit down and be like, I cooked you a meal, I'm taking you out to dinner.
Yeah.
That's it for me. I'm done.
Tim, are you watching?
Tim, he's watching. We're going to dinner on Saturday. That to me is where community starts. It's
Yeah.
the first thing when someone dies, I'm going to bring you food. Someone has a baby, I'm going to bring you food. Something terrible happens, I'm going to bring you food so that you don't have to cook food for yourself and that you can just exist and have this to take care of you. And so I really just wanted to try to create a place for us to have a little bit of community and to come together and to meet people and to learn about each other and to know that there's people that are supporting you in the community. And also there's a lot of people in our community that are seeking like a non-toxic lifestyle, alternative like cleaners, alternate beauty care, alternate skincare. And we want those people in the community to know that we're here and that we support you, because we've all heard it. Why are you starting this business? You can just get that at Walmart. Why are you doing this? You don't have to. That's weird. You know, like, no, it's not weird, and it's okay. Like, it's okay.
It is okay.
And we want to support the people in our community that want to go down that path and have an alternative to going into the grocery store or wherever they might go to get their goods. And to know that there's trusted people in the community who are making quality items that are far better than what you can get in the stores.
Yep, can't get that at Walmart.
Nope, you can't.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I love, like you said, the atmosphere of a farmer's market. I love that when I more oftentimes than not, indefinitely at our market, the person you're looking at across the product table is the person that has had their hands in it
100%.
from start to finish. And to me, that is, words can't describe. I'm looking at the person that put a lot of time into this. I could go and get a similar knockoff-ish commercial product someplace else.
Right.
I could do that. But being able to look them in the eye and ask them questions. We have one vendor, I could stand at her table and listen to her talk about her products all day. And it's really cool. You see a display of what their hands have made.
Truly,
a
their
passion,
hands,
a passion of their heart.
Yeah.
And when someone, comes up to our Burris cattle table, a lot of the time it's surprising actually how much people ask, now are these your cows? Now are you from this area? Where are you located? People genuinely care. Now, if they don't care, they won't come to our market.
Right.
And that's just
fine.
not the audience. Yeah, and that is
fine.
okay.
Yeah.
It's providing, again, just opportunities.
Right.
So it's providing opportunities for the public, for me, but then also service to vendors. I have a love of just providing and serving. And this has been a wonderful outlet to just allow encouragement. And sometimes, there's good sales days and there's poor sales days. You'll never know that.
Right.
You'll never look at a vendor at our market and see that they've had a slow day, or everyone is always chipper. Everyone is always upbeat. And I love that we've established a place for a community to come together like that, whether it's a consumer or a producer. And so that was important to me.
Yeah, definitely.
We have done several different farmers markets in county and out of county. But I just feel like this has a place too. Just like there's a place for everything else, there's an opportunity for everyone else. This one really worked for us, I think, because of our business model and our end goal.
Yeah.
And so I loved being able to I collaborated with May and J and taco seasoning and sliders with a whole bunch of other folks.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it was just really cool to have those connections where I hadn't gotten those otherwise. And maybe I would have, like you said, long term down the road, I might have sought those out.
Yeah.
But the market just put them together for me. We have a lot of producers that are like, man, this has been wonderful, just connecting pieces. We have vendors who have other businesses that now open up their space for retail, for the rest of our vendors. Like, it's just, the community's been really cool, and I've just liked working with everyone, and I think that was the big why for the co-op.
Yeah.
I'm not from this area, so I don't feel like I have as big of a community heart as you do. Like, you are from this area, and this is always where you've called home. And so I think with your heart for the community in the area, and my love of micromanaging, I guess, or just bringing people together, it's become something really cool. And we already talked about, this is what we set out for, but this is what it has grown into.
Yeah.
And it's only going to go up from there.
Yeah, it's kind of taken on a life of its own. And I kind of felt that when we were at the Christmas market, like, there's like at this moment on, like, I think it's the Trolls World Tour, or one of the Trolls, where like eventually like the party gets so great that like the hair lifts up and there's like a champion of the party. I felt like the From Scratch Co-op was just like rising up like that day. Like, it just really truly felt like it was taking on a life of its own. And it just has gone so well, honestly. Like, all of it has gone so well. And it's just been so well received by the community that has shown up and has tried us out and has seen, came down and seen what it was about. We saw the same people week after week.
We had regulars. Our vendors had regulars.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. And so just, it's kind of crazy to see the brainchild come to life, like sometimes I'm just like, if you ever see me at the market and I'm just like spaced out, I'm just taking it in.
Yeah.
I'm just so proud. I'm just so happy. Right. And another part of why I wanted to kind of get an organization like this started too is so I have 2 boys, and I kind of wanted to get them involved and kind of show them what it looks like to start something, to show up for people, to show up for yourself, to like you're saying, be in service of others, to be helpful, and just to lead by example for the kind of people that I hope that they turn out to be, And like I said, also to just let people get to know the people, the vendors, because like you said, it's hard, especially like if you're meeting somebody in a parking lot or whatever, you're just like, okay, here you go, thanks, bye, you know.
Yeah.
It's, you know, you don't get to say, well, like, why'd you make this?
Sure.
Or why'd you decide to make this product? Or how does this help you? Or I have this going on.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big, I stay off of social media as much as possible. And I know a lot of people like to tell their story on social media, but for me, it's just something's missing.
Yeah.
You know, there's just disconnect. And this is just a way to hopefully try to start connecting people in some way. And to me, I think that our local food community is the basis.
Yeah.
I really do.
Absolutely.
I think that when your local food community is strong, and I mean, we live in a beautiful area that we're able to grow gardens, we're able to make things, where people in our area are talented, and we want them to have a space to showcase that. And, you know, we're really lucky to live in this area. People come here on vacation to visit this area, and we should be proud to live here, and I really, really hope that one day our community reflects that.
Yeah, we did, specifically over, I believe it was the 4th of July weekend last year at the market. We had a lot of people that were in the area for visiting family or camping out at Salt Fork, and they came.
Yeah.
Like, that is super neat. I remember one farmer's market I went to in Chicago, actually.
Oh,
I went on a
wow.
girls' trip. I know. That was a long time ago. But we went on a girls' trip, and we walked to the farmer's market, and I thought it was just the coolest thing. Like, I got a very gourmet breakfast grilled cheese sandwich and flowers, and it was just super fun. And
Yeah.
but we knew about it because everyone talked about it. It was like a tourist destination. And my husband and I, we just went to Florida, and they have a farmer's market down there. We didn't make it this year, but we did go last year. Like, when we travel,
Yes. And
I
I'm
look
always
up
looking.
where the farmers
Me
markets
too,
are,
me too.
and they're so different based of course, like their producers are going to be different based upon
Yeah.
the region of the country and everything like that. But I would love for someone to be out at Salt Fork and be like, oh, there's a farmer's market Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Let's go into town to that.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
it's a staple, and there's so many other small businesses here in Cambridge
Mm-hmm.
that thrive off of tourism, and we get to be a part of that, and
Yeah.
that's just really cool.
Yeah, and we just want to become like a place for people to be like, oh, we've got to go to the From Scratch Co-op market.
Yeah.
We've got to make it. We've got, you know, and I think that it's getting there. I mean, I really do.
Even after just 1 year.
Yeah,
It's
really.
crazy.
I mean, before we even started the market last year, we were like, well, at the end of 2025, we'll just circle back, and if it didn't work out, we can say, well, at least we tried.
Yeah.
But we didn't
It
have to. We
did.
didn't have
It
to do that, did
worked.
we? It
No,
worked out.
it
It worked
didn't.
out. And
It's constantly like, what's next? What's next? What's next?
yeah, and it's really unique too to meet someone else like you who also wants to push yourself.
Yeah.
Not everybody wants growth. Not everybody wants to see what's next. Not everybody wants to push the barrier, to see how far we can go. And so for you to want to jump on this journey with me has been amazing.
It's been fun.
I'm so happy that you said yes to begin with, because you definitely could have said, Bree, you're crazy. I'm not going to do this.
I'll be a vendor, maybe.
Yes, but you decided to say yes, and here we are. So we're ready for 2026,
Yeah.
and we can't wait to see what holds in store for us. So as we go on through the next episodes of the podcast,
There will be more.
There's more, whether you like it or not. There's going to be more. And so our next guest, we're going to cover our next guest, and then we have a fun little segment that we want to do to kind of close out.
Yeah, just
some fun stuff.
We have a few surprise segments coming, but
Yeah,
can't give all of our secrets away on the first episode.
But our second guest, well, our first guest, I guess, because we're each other's first guest, I guess.
Yeah.
So the first guest of the podcast is going to be Tiffany Baker.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, with the NoCo Loco Homestead Co.
You
I got
it.
it.
You got
And she's going to be telling her story.
Yeah, I
so
can't wait.
I can't wait to see, you know, this. I think last year was maybe her first year in business.
I know she's very business minded.
Yeah.
She has a long history. Well, obviously have to
Yeah,
listen
she'll
to
have
her
to just
story.
tell us. Yeah.
But last year was my first year meeting her
Okay.
throughout the farmers market circuits here in the county.
Okay, yeah, so we're really excited to see what she has to say. I know she's had some other businesses too in the past, and so I just can't wait to see what led her to this develop
Yeah.
this business because she has incredible like natural body products,
Yeah.
home goods, and so all this stuff matters.
It
And
does.
they're coming out with more and more research all the time. That what you put on your body matters just as much as what you put in your body.
right.
And so, we're just here to support that kind of lifestyle.
Right.
So Tiffany's going to be with us next time on the podcast for episode 2. So Sarah, tell me, what are you currently reading / listening to?
I told you couldn't ask me what I read.
Listening to? What are you
Yeah.
audiobook listening
So I
to?
always read my Bible, but I listen.
Okay.
So
I do that too.
I
Like
have
folding
to listen.
laundry,
Yeah.
driving, I'm listening to an
Yeah.
audiobook.
Well, because as a mom of 3, I'm very seldom sitting down.
Yeah.
So I do like to listen to different things. I have listened last year to a few audiobooks, but this year I haven't started any
Okay,
yet.
okay.
So I think the ladies at church are starting a book club. So
Oh,
maybe
fun.
I'll have something next week. But you tell me what you're listening to.
So I just started this series. I saw this commercial on TV the other week. There's a new series coming out on USA, and it said it was based on a book called, the main character's name is Anna Pigeon, and she is I'm almost finished with the first book, but she's a national park ranger, and so she's trying to solve these crimes that are like taking place in these national parks, and she's like advocating for the animals, and she's talking about like a lot of different procedural stuff, and so it's something kind of different. So I'm really excited about that. It has 19 books in it.
Oh, it'll keep you occupied.
So I'm really hoping I like the
Yeah.
series because it's always like when you run out of a book to listen to and you're just like, oh, what am I going to listen to? So it's
Yeah.
nice to have like some things on tap.
Yeah. No, that's cool. I mostly read children's books. So I guess like last night we read Chicka Chicka Boom Boom. So I
Okay.
guess that's
Yeah,
my
so
answer.
you read-
I am recently
so-
reading Chicka Chicka Boom Boom.
Okay, what did you learn from that? Anything? Any takeaways from
A
Chicka Chicka?
told B and B told C, I'll beat you to the top of the coconut tree. That's all I got for now. You're gonna have to wait for the rest till
Okay,
later.
I'll be waiting on pins and needles. Okay, so thank you for joining us
Yeah,
on our first episode. We hope that you enjoyed it, and we will be back again with episode 2, again with Tiffany Baker from the Noco Loco Homestead Co., and we're going to be excited to see what she has and what she's looking forward to in 2026.
Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.